Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero. We are back again talking about how the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is now available for the big major platforms like PC, PlayStation 5, as well as Xbox Series consoles. This is of course in a push to keep games like Elder Scrolls multi-platform, similar to how Microsoft has kept Call of Duty multi-platform as well, because apparently Sony believes that they are the only saving grace, Call of Duty, is to keep their console afloat. But it's interesting to me how Microsoft can continue to do these great pro-consumer things with things like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, where they can give you the game at a great entry price, as well as offer it to people on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, as well as PC Game Pass at the low cost of $20 a month for Ultimate, $12 a month for PC Game Pass, and even offer the game to you at $50 for a remaster with all DLC included. But they're absolutely showing you that they are the most pro-consumer company right now when you have PlayStation putting out a remaster for Days Gone for $70 with DLC. $70, and then you have to pay, you're paying extra for that upgrade pack, and you'd be paying extra for that DLC content. Meanwhile, Microsoft can put out a remaster of a 19-year-old game for, I don't think it's 19 years old, I think it's 16 years old. Basically a very old game. Like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered with all DLC included, no charging for upgrade packs. You could even play the original Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion with free FPS boost and upgrades, and you don't have to pay a $10 fee to get better frame rates, better graphics when it comes to either Sony or even Nintendo's platform, where you have to pay a $10 fee to get better frame rates and resolution with games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And for people who are getting the Switch 2 editions of Tears of the Kingdom, and people out there want to say that, Mario Kart World is the only $80 game for the Switch 2, meanwhile Tears of the Kingdom is also an $80 game for the Switch 2. So, no. There are multiple games for the Switch 2 that are $80. So you have Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that costs you $10 extra for better frame rates and better resolution, where you get it free with Microsoft. You have to pay $10 extra on the Sony platform for games like Days Gone, a game that's barely 5 years old, and you even have to pay an extra $10 to get better frame rates for even Breath of the Wild. Don't have the DLC, that's another $20, because they didn't even go ahead and include the DLC with your Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild. So you're paying upwards of even $90 to have a complete game with Breath of the Wild, and you're paying $80 for a Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom. So of course, they started their trend with Tears of the Kingdom, making that game $70 on Switch 1, even though it was originally $60 when they put it up for pre-order, and then they say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna just this one game for $70, and now it's an $80 game if you want the Switch 2 edition of this game for better frame rates and better resolution, where in my opinion this game should be available on PC. I think games like Metroid Prime 4 should be available on PC at this point, since you want to include mouse controls with Joy-Cons that are nearing $100, basically $100 when you buy the damn thing. But it's also crazy to me that there are over 100 different mods already available for the Oblivion Remaster. So, obviously, Microsoft is showing up both Sony and Nintendo on how to do a proper remaster with proper upgrades, basically for free. And now they're including all DLC when you buy the remaster. But the big thing about this is that, yes, it doesn't, of course, not come with its controversies, where when you start up the game for Oblivion Remastered, there are things like Type 1 and Type 2 for the male and female, or in this case, it's female in Type 1 and male in Type 2, which is crazy to me. But there was obviously mods that were going to be made to fix, we'll say, these issues with the game. Now, I'm not saying it's a huge issue. I'm saying, why is it changed if it's never really used? It's the same thing with games like Starfield, where they make you pick your pronouns and it's never really mentioned ever again. But the mod was of course banned on the Nexus Mods platform. You can go obviously on other platforms and get this mod for your PC version of the game. It says here, following the release of the worst kept secret in gaming, that being Oblivion Remastered, modders are already hard at work coming up with mods for the game. At the time of the writing and on the Nexus Mods platform, there's now over 100 different mods available for Oblivion Remastered, despite Bethesda announcing that there would be no official support. And this is the same website that, of course, took down the mod for Spider-Man, I believe, when people tried to replace the alphabet flag with the American flag in that game. At the time of writing, the majority of the mods seem to focus on improved visuals, such as textures and the HUD. However, gameplay mods such as faster leveling, lower fatigue, and even some cosmetic changes have also been added. Oblivion Remastered has already been a proven success for Virtuos, which is the people that they ported out the game to remaster this game, and Bethesda, according to Steam charts, with over 180,000 concurrent players purchasing and downloading the game. It's an impressive feat for a weekday, not to mention that the game is also available on Xbox and PC Game Pass, which is something I already talked about. In its reveal announcement and released yesterday, it was said that Oblivion Remastered has been completely rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5, with stunning new visuals and plenty of newly recorded dialogue. Now, we do have people like, it's Alex that have done PC port reviews, and apparently this game also has the same stutter that every other game that's built from the ground up with Unreal Engine 5 has on PC. So, of course, it's not the best port, but it still looks absolutely awesome. Yet the game's frustration, success hasn't come with some sort of criticism, as fans of the game voiced their frustration over having to pay extra for the new Horse Armor DLC, which is locked behind the game's deluxe edition, which, you had to pay for the Horse DLC at, $2 back in the day, that apparently outsold the StarCraft 2 game completely, which is why companies continue to do microtransactions, because they seem to get the most revenue out of people who continue to purchase said microtransactions. And it's a 123 gigabyte game. It's absolutely crazy how you went from a 6 gigabyte game to a 123 gigabyte game. But obviously, Nexus Mods couldn't have, that mod included on their site because they had to remove it because reasons. Now you can go to other websites, like I think it's Dex Mod. There's other mod websites that will, of course, have this mod for you over on the PC side, but I think it's absolutely phenomenal to see, and crazy to see even, that the Microsoft is the most pro-consumer company at this time, considering their remasters don't cost nearly as much. And I know people will mention, the whole Metroid Prime Remastered at $40, which is a perfect price for a remaster as well. They didn't add any content, but that game did look absolutely phenomenal on the Switch. So it's crazy to me how Sony and Nintendo can't do the same thing with their remasters. Price them at a lower price and add their new content for no additional cost, add their new upgrades for visuals and FPS boosts for free. I don't see why Microsoft is able to do it, but of course Sony and Nintendo can't be pro-consumer like Microsoft is. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about how absolutely Microsoft is decimating both Sony and Nintendo in this whole who's the most pro-consumer argument. I just want to let you guys know that you can decide for yourself whether you want to play the Oblivion Remaster. I will be playing it probably later on stream today. I obviously have Game Pass, so I didn't pay the full price for this game, and it seems like people in my community want me to play this game. It will be the first time I've ever played Oblivion. I was a big Skyrim fan. I love that game, but I never really got a chance to play Oblivion because I didn't really like the way it played. So I thank y'all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, smash the like button. Comment below how you feel about this. Will you be picking up Elder Scrolls 4 Remastered, or will you be playing it on Game Pass? Subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or go live on the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.